so many hours, and you can put it in the freezer to pause that time. You could put it in front of a fan to quick dry it and take it out and re-wet it or re-warm it if it's frozen years later. So it's pretty useful, and it's very inexpensive.
Yeah, it works, too. You'd send it to me in a box, and in the bag, there it is. I open it up, and I'm like, how could that be? You put it in water, and I began hearing something taking place in my ears, very in tuned, and it sounded like there was some kind of chemical reaction going on for a little bit. Not long.
It is actually to the galvanic cell, and basically, galvanic cell was invented in about 1760 by Luigi Galvani, and pretty much it's an anode and a cathode that are come together, and one metal will corrode the other one, and in that process of destroying the anode, it produces electricity. So that's what you're hearing is a little bit of oxidation going on.
And perfectly safe.
It's perfectly safe, it's non-toxic, and it's biodegradable. You can throw it in the landfill when you're finished, and there's pretty much nothing left.
And you can also stick it anywhere because you've given it a little adhesive, so once it starts generating light, you can put it wherever you want.
Yep, peel off the back, and if you're camping, you put a couple of them on the roof of your tent, and there you go. You've got light for the rest of the night.
Yeah, if you do a couple, that'll give you adequate light for sure.
Yeah.
Two's better than one, but even one, if it's completely black, you'd be happy to have that light.
Absolutely. And, during a storm, the last thing you want to do is light a candle. If you have some type of a catastrophe,
yeah.
Gas lines have been broken, and you just don't want to do that. So in flashlights, they don't always turn on. In extreme cold and extreme heat, batteries deteriorate. They just will not work. It doesn't hold any charge at all. So the minute you wet it, it actually generates the electricity on the spot. So it's completely safe, and it'll store for many years in a packet just waiting to be used.
Yeah, and I spent some time out in California, in Northern California, several years ago, and I learned about something that you guys call out there a bug-out bag.
Yes.
That would definitely be an item that should be in every bug-out bag, no matter where you live.
Absolutely. The military could use it. I even have a friend that belongs to the bomb squad, and he just said, we need something that's just like this. You could stick it right on the project you're working on, and it would take care of the situation. So,
now, some people say, all right, well, that sounds interesting and all that, but why don't we just get a flashlight, stick some batteries in it and be done with it? What do you say to people that, may have that attitude?
Well, different things for different uses. I just don't think, if you've ever taken a flashlight out of the drawer that's been there for 10 years, they don't always work. And this is super light, very flat, very compact, so it would fit into a bug-out bag, and ready to go.
Anywhere, and guaranteed it will light up. Guaranteed every single time. All right, and I'm sold because I put it through the test. To make sure it did do what you said it did, because I have people on the air. Let's face it, and they'll say certain things, but your claims are exactly what you said it would do.
I've been working on this for a while, and I'm at the prototype stage. I'm not manufacturing it yet, and I would like to, but right now I'm getting some price quotes. It has to be machine made, so I'm actually getting quotes on the custom machinery to make these things. And so that's the next step, I believe, and then funding.
Are you looking for partners?
I certainly am. So if there's anybody out there that would like to get involved in something really neat, please contact you, Keith Allen, at For the People, and let's get in touch.
I'll put them in touch. I had asked you a question, and even Chuck Harder, the founder of this broadcast, which, Chuck from all these years, all the great advice Chuck's given. But Chuck said, why not go to Bell and Howell why not go to Home Shopping Network? Well, you did go to Home Shopping Network, and what did they tell you?
Well, they put me in touch with their people in China, and they went around to a couple different manufacturers there, and they said, we need you to go ahead and have the engineering done, and this can't be handmade. We have to build the machinery. Two things. And so I can't get either of those done. It's probably a few $100,000 to get that handled.
But if you can get that money raised, what are the possibilities?
If we can get that done, we would have the machinery to print these out. Everything else is distribution. Who wouldn't want it? So that's where we're at.
Now, can you make bigger ones? Because this one's really very super light, but my brain started wandering when I had this device in my hand, and it was generating this light with this water, but I thought you said military application, but could you go bigger and have it brighter? Could you do more things besides light?
You sure could. What I sent you was about 9 cell strip. You can double them up. We can make cubes. We can increase the voltage. The amperage is not that high, but the voltage, I've created a couple hundred volts on my kitchen counter. Just tinking around, and there's a lot of applications you can use it for.
That's it. It runs on water.
Well, the water has
it activates
air in it, which is the oxidizer. That's right. But yeah, I mean, you could if you're stuck in the middle of nowhere, you could pee on it if you had to.
Nice.
Dunk it in a river, spit on it to get it going. So, yeah.
All right. Well, there might be now. Are you looking for a certain number of investors, or are you just open-minded? If somebody says, "Hey, I'll give you 50,000, I'll give you 25,000," that'll work.
I'm open to anything, and I really was going down the licensing direction. I had it licensed with a weapons contractor, and the problem was they were trying to fund several multi-million-dollar projects at once. And I just said, I need to take this back, and I only want to focus in on just this. So I just want to produce this, and I'd be happy to anything, to listen to anything.
Jim Siegrist is our guest. He's an inventor from California, and what do you call this device?
Well, now we're in the middle of a name change, so we don't have the rights on the name. So
what are you calling it so far?
Well, I've been calling it the sticky light, but I've been told I can't have that because it has an adhesive backing. So I have it. I have some other names in mind that I don't want to divulge yet. Yeah. But.
All right. Now, I understand. Now, can anybody see this thing in action online? Do you have a video that somebody could watch?
I don't have the public video, but I could get you my demonstration video, and maybe you could put it on your website. I
would be happy to do that. So if anybody interested at forthepeopleshow.com, we'll pop it online, and then people interested could send me an email that I could forward off forthepeopleshow.com. No, my pleasure. There's a lot of people. Listen, there's a guy that I knew, and I don't know why some things are just so difficult to be able to get out to the marketplace, but his name was Jim Cullen, and he probably died about 5 years ago, but he was an engineer/inventor, and he lived in Phoenix, Arizona. And he invented some unbelievable things. One was, he said he could revolutionize the fast food industry by taking grills off the grid, so to speak, and this contraption would run off a 9-volt battery and would last for, as long as the battery would last for. It just hardly put out anything, but you wouldn't have to have that electricity expenditure. And it was unbelievable technology. I've seen the thing in action. Why is it so tough to get people excited about stuff? It was like pulling teeth sometimes with folks.
Well, I know that the last 10 years have been very difficult to get anything to market for inventors, and I know there's just thousands of people out there with great ideas, and the odds are terrible for an inventor. Only 2% ever make it to market. So we are right at the beginning of a new America and a new economy. This economy is going to be booming, and products and new ideas are just going to flood our country. I am sure of it with everything that's going on, the new changes.
Well, I'm convinced of that. And if you heard our first part of the broadcast, we mentioned Dr. Franklin Graham, who praises Donald Trump for his accomplishments, the economy, the progress, all the, so-called mainstream media attacking him. But he's hopeful. He's praying for America, thinks the best days ahead. And for the people, we're behind you, Jim, on your project. I know you're a Christian and, looking to do good things with your company. Anybody listening interested in Jim's product with this, light that is activated with water and has this reaction with metals. I know we can't give away all the stuff on there because, you don't want to just give it away. But he sent me some of them. And if you're really interested in it, we'll get you some of them so you can see for yourself. It is really unbelievable. I mean, I have always been enamored with lights. Chuck has, for years. Chuck, was a survivalist and still believes in it very much. He, 2 or 3 survival books he wrote. This would be in it. It'll be in mine for sure. Because look, I live in Florida and hurricanes are coming back, I think. There's a warming trend here, and I don't know if you call it global warming. I just call it the Earth going through changes. But sometimes you just don't know when something's going to hit and how fast and how soon, and you just got to have something that works. And there's the worst thing that could happen to somebody is being in the dark.
Well, I'm sure that your viewers are going to ask this question. There are other products that are similar. Some of them are in the hundreds of dollars, and then there's the H2O Buddy, which is a $10 to $20 plastic container you dip in water and it lights up.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between mine is there's no plastics. You can control the use clock, and the cost should be around 20 cents to make.
Wow.
So usually there's a multiple of 5 when you have a product. So I can tell you the other products are more costly, and you can't dispose of them. You just throw them in the landfill and they stay there. This one here will
biodegradable.
Biodegradable. It's very cheap to make.
Yeah, and you're in California. You understand that, man. It's like almost everybody out in California is green, and it's a good thing. And you have to be. Look at your population out there.
That's true, and I do remember the inventor of the K-Cup reading that.
Oh yeah, jeez. Sad.
He had creative. He got rich, but all those little pieces of plastic are just they're stacking up.
But you know what? Kudos to a company out there, a coffee company called Slow Coffee, out in San Luis Obispo. Right. The Slow Coffee Company. They make K-Cups that are biodegradable that have their name on it.
Wow, great.
So if K-Cup Keurig can't do it, they did. SLO, Slow Coffee out of San Luis Obispo. They're great. Love their coffee. All right, so let's get into your past, your background. You're an artist. You're an inventor. How did you come up with this contraption?
Well, I've been building my own toys and things since I was a kid, and I've always been artistic. I've been slightly colorblind and had a little bit of dyslexia, so I had trouble taking in information, reading the written word as I was younger. So I kind of leaned towards a lot of artwork. I wanted to be an artist. I was a struggling pizza delivery guy, and I used to drive around with my paintings in my trunk of my car, hoping that the art gallery would order and I would show them my work.
Yeah.
And this is what I did. And one of the big galleries picked me up and called me in, and I sold very high-end paintings for them for 10 years of my life. And, it just standing in front of a wall for 15 hours a day painting, after a period of time, I thought, I love inventing and building things. I think I need to just put this aside while I'm ahead and give this a shot. I mean, we get to create our own life, and make our own decisions. It was a huge risk, and here I am. Several years later, I'm still pushing forward.
Good for you.
Close. Yeah. So